As we see the title of this topic, it has the two terms, that is the first one random and the second one variables. The first term is very important to us. The variable will definitely hold some kind of information, and the variable that we shall be utilizing in the mathematical representation. So the term random comes from a simple classification of the signal as deterministic signal and the random signal. Signal, we always know that it is nothing but the kind of information holded by something, and it is always for the purpose of either storage or transmission into the engineering system. There are many ways with which we can have the classification of the signal, but the deterministic versus the random signal, this classification is important to learn this particular topic. So let us first of all focus our attention to the meaning of first type, that is deterministic signal. So any sort of information, what we call signal in our subject, can be reproduced exactly with the repeated measurements, comes under this category, and we call it to be a deterministic signal here. There are many examples we can give for this type. For example, the sinusoids you must have encountered while learning the signals and system subject. So the sinusoids can be the sine signal or the cosine, either you take one-sided or two-sided. Those have the repeated structure while we have the graphical representation. Also we can talk about the square wave, triangular wave, sawtooth wave. So at any instance of time, if we take time as a parameter onto the horizontal axis, we can exactly judge the value of the amplitude at that particular time instance. So we can say that this particular signal can be reproduced exactly with the repeated measurement. Hence all those examples come under this category. As far as the subject of advanced digital signal processing is concerned, the best example can be given as the unit sample response of a linear shift invariant filter here. See here, the focus is on the linear property as well as the shift invariant property of the filter into the use, and the example is unit sample response. So the response given by that particular filter. So this will be the deterministic signal in all. Now let us focus our attention to the second type in this particular classification, which is of more significance to us. So the second type, what we call random signal, can be also named by a random process in our subject. Now the definition is somewhat different, unlike the case of deterministic signal that we have already talked about. Here those informations, what we call signal, that are not repeatable, unlike the cases of the square wave, triangular wave, sawtooth wave, the sinusoids, or the latest example that we have seen for the case of deterministic signal. Here there is no repeatability, so in a predictable manner we have to proceed forward. So these types of signals shall come under the category known as random signal or random processes here. As far as our subject advanced digital signal processing is concerned, the examples we can list out here. The first example can be the quantization noise, which is produced by A to D converter or a fixed point digital filter. Now here the quantization noise, into the communication engineering we must know what is the wanted signal and unwanted signal. Wanted signal is the one that has been transmitted by the transmitter section into the communication channel, and it's hold the wanted information, the desired information. Whereas there are certain signals produced unwantedly while there it is a journey into the communication channel that interferes with the wanted information, and what we call as noise. So this is what the practical scenario here. Now here we have taken the example of A to D converter. So A to D, so A the analog and D refers to the digital here. As we know, most of the signals that we deal in our digital domain here are naturally existing as the analog here, and we have to get converted them to the digital domain so that we can work for the processing further. So now the conversion is done either to reduce the memory space and the processing time. So a lot of issues are there. So here it is essential that this particular quantization noise has the randomness, hence we categorize it to the random signal or random processes. Here this can be also to be a fixed point digital filter. Now moving further into the list of examples under this category, we can also talk about the tape hiss or a turntable rumble, that is in the case of audio signals. So when we talk about the tape hiss, the better explanatory example in this particular diagram we can find here. So at the bottom you see here it is the magnetic field and it is associated with the magnetic tape. So this tape is having a motion and here it is associated with the assembly that we find with the signal current fed to it. Here it is the tape head and the magnetic emulsions here we have. The exact information regarding the tape hiss can be, tape hiss is nothing but the high frequency noise present on analog magnetic tape recordings. Those used to be for storage of the audio cassettes here, and it is caused by the size of magnetic particles used to make the tape here. So this tape hiss is also of the type random, hence we categorize in this particular type here. Now here it is the case of turntable rumble here. So turntable rumble also used to be the device for the audio signal, especially the songs here. The scenario can be given in this particular diagram here. So here it is the round disc here and which is played with this particular probe here. Talking about the more information with respect to the rumble here. So the rumble here is a continuous deep resonant sound here. So the rumble is generated by the turntable action here. So with respect to the audio reproduction, this rumble refers to the low frequency sound from the bearings inside the turntable. So here we have the mechanical assembly, and while it is working, this mechanical assembly is generating the sound that is of low frequency because of these bearings, and this is totally unwanted and it is also having the random nature, hence we categorize it to this particular type here. Now moving further, the first two examples, those must be the one-dimensional signals. Now we switch to the two-dimensional signals. So the example of two-dimensional signals are nothing but the images here. So the images can be represented into the two dimensions like this. So this is the pictorial representation. It will be having the length and the breadth, or in terms of matrix we generally take them to be with respect to the rows and column, and in that sense we locate a certain pixel that is giving us the intensity information, and there can be more such slices so that we can go for the multispectral images here. Here it is the case taken for the radar images, and whatever the information that we need to represent with the help of radar images, if there is certain kind of unwanted information produced into the background, what we call the background flutter, is also of the random type here. Next, into the radar images, if the specific case of the synthetic aperture radar, what we abbreviate as SAR images, the speckle noise is also of the random type here. Another example, the last one here we can talk about, if we have the engine noise into the speech transmissions from the cockpit of an airplane, it is also nothing but a random signal or random process here. Now moving further to few of the examples which can have both features that we have discussed right now here with respect to the deterministic and the random here. So find certain applications where the dependent signals are of the either types here, just now we have talked about. So the best example is the speech here. the thing is very very clear. If the speech signal has repetitiveness, so that time we can consider it to be a random type here. Now if it is the case the speech signal is having the repetitive nature, it comes under the deterministic signal. And if there is no particular structure to the speech signal, that time we can consider it to be of a random type here. Now when we talk about the deterministic signal, so that time it can easily be mathematically described with a fixed structure here. Whereas for the random process or the random signal, we cannot directly give a firm structure here. Hence, the description of the information holded up by this random process totally depends on the probability theory here. So, the probabilistically or in terms of average behavior that signal has shown, we have to proceed for the signal processing here. Next to that, the parameters that are very very important to us while analyzing with the processing of these random signals here. The most important one that we are dealing is nothing but the power spectrum here. So the spectrum refers to the frequency here. So most of the cases into the engineering subjects, you must know that while learning the significance of Fourier transform also, few of the cases where we find the convenience to work into the frequency domain instead of the time domain or the spatial domain, hence we switch that. So the extent of the power mostly that we measure in terms of decibels, when represented into the frequency domain, we call it to be the power spectrum here. And the power spectrum here, by the next few of the lectures we shall be continuing into this particular chapter, we will come to know that it is nothing but the Fourier transform of the autocorrelation function. So autocorrelation function, cross correlation function, all these details we have already dealt with in our previous chapters here. Next to that, the techniques for estimation of the power spectrum of the random processes are of more importance as far as this subject is concerned, and that we shall deal into the next chapter here. Next to this, there is very important note with respect to the random variables we must have. The random variables are pervasive into the nature and they may be found in almost any practical application or natural setting, ranging from the theory of games to detection and estimation theory and the restoration and the enhancement of the distorted signals. So this statement is very very important to know the extent of this particular scope here for the random variables here. Now let us take one example here. So this example we are dealing for the random variable that can be better defined using the simple example of a fair coin here. Now the fair coin can be flipped here this way. So as we are having here the different coins for rupees 10, rupees 2, rupees 5, rupees 1. So the coin is having the two sides here that we can show. So this is the first side that we generally prefer to be head, and this is the another side of the coin that we prefer to be the tail. Now the question arises how we identify the head and that of the tail here. So basically wherever we have the national representation, here we have on this particular side, this is nothing but the head here. So this is the Supremo that is ruling the country. So this is with respect to the Indian coins here, and the terms head and tail have come from the British coins here. So for the British Empire, these were the two sides of the old coin here, where here it was the head crown for the Elizabeth II on one side of the coin, and onto the another side the representation, it was a lion with a raised tail here. Hence this side was known to be the head, whereas this side was known to be a tail of the coin here. Now we are dealing with the example of flipping the coin. So if we have the total number of flips represented by capital N suffix capital T here. So out of those, the number of occurrences to result into the head, if represented by small h suffix capital H, the answer is half here, it is 0.5. Same is the case for the number of occurrences to have the tails occurred with respect to the total number of flips we have made in this particular example. So this is also half, that is 0.5. So the combined representation of the number of heads as well as the number of tails will result into the total number of flips, and that will be represented by 1 here. So by the next slide, if the probability is to be represented, we can show the symbolic representation capital P suffix R here to represent the probability. So within the curly brackets we have the representation of head by H here. So probability of occurrences of head is equal to 0.5 as represented onto the earlier slide. Also probability of occurrence of tail here we represent by capital T, it is also 0.5. Now here it is the representation of the sample space. Sample space can be represented by the capital omega here. So for the capital omega represented here, the total probability lies to be 1, the addition of the two events here we can say. So the sample space can be represented as the two events capital H comma capital T here. So in another way of representation also, we may write the second equation to be the probability of the events H comma T, and this is equal to 1 here. Now with respect to these two events, the elementary events we can call them, we can also have the representation in terms of the small omega 1 and omega 2 here. So small omega 1 we designate for the representation of head events here, and small omega 2 we designate for the representation of tail events here. So if in this particular case we assign this particular information that we gather from this experiment of flipping a coil to a variable, that variable can be denoted as x. So x will be a real valued variable, and the definition of it we can make in the sense that if there it is the occurrence of heads, so that time the value will be positive 1, and if it is the occurrence of the tails here, the value representation, the real value represented or assigned to the variable x will be a minus 1 here. So in this particular regard we can have the mathematical representation as before, omega 1 which is nothing but for heads into the curly brackets, x is equal to 1, and now we can represent the probability of x to be equal to 1 is 0.5. Similarly we can also represent omega 2, that is for the elementary event of tails here, x is equal to minus 1, hence the probability of x is equal to minus 1 is equal to 0.5. Now if we take the case of for any number that is different from 1 or minus 1, and that is not the case mostly possible in this particular example of flipping a coin. So either there it will be head or tail here. So either we require the value to be plus 1 or minus 1. So the another value if it is possible, so the probability is mostly equal to 0. So here the case we take for x is equal to alpha, and this probability results into the 0 here. So here we represent probability of x is equal to alpha is equal to 0 if it is the case as alpha not equal to plus minus 1 here. Next we move further for another case where the probability that the x assumes one of the two values. So the combined representations is to be like this, the probability of omega in capital sense we have to represent. So probability of x is equal to plus minus 1, and that value is equal to 1 of course here. Now specific with respect to the likelihoods if you talk about, so the assumptions of the particular value we can make by the assignment as the probability of x is equal to 1 we can treat to be small p, and the probability of x is equal to minus 1 we can treat it to be 1 minus p. So if this is the representation we are opting in this particular example. The representation is known by the Bernoulli random variable here. So this was the first example. Now we can add certain more complexities to the example of the random variables here. So let us switch to the example 2 here. So in this example 2 here, the more complicatedness into the random variable we shall show by experimenting with a roll of a pair die. In the earlier case, there it was a coin which had only two sides to result in. Here, the pair die is having the 6 surfaces with the 6 values in the sequence 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 here. So this is the pictorial representation of a pair die here, and as the before case we have discussed to represent into the mathematics by the real valued variable denoted by x, the same we can opt here. So here x will be a random variable and that is equally likely to take any of the integer value among 1 to 6 values here. So this is the second example where the number of elementary events we have increased from 2 in the case of a pair coin to the 6 in the case of a pair die here. Now more complexity we can add if we take the 2 pair dies here. So that we refer by the example number 3 here. So a complex random variable defined here by the role of 2 pair dies as like this. So as we know, the 2 pair dies, so 6 surfaces for each of that particular pair die here. So the combination of the two will be a more complex as compared to the previous one here. So here also, as like the previous cases, x it was there for only one case here. As we are having the 2 dice, we require the 2 variables here. So here we can refer them by small m and small n here. So if we take small m as the real valued variable for the first die and small n for the real valued random variable for the second die, the combination of the two we can make into the complex sense, real plus the imaginary part generally we prefer for. So m plus j times n will be represented by z here. So in this particular regard, each of the random variables considered so far from experiment number 1 to experiment number 3 here, the discrete time random variables there, since the sample space that we have represented by capital omega consists of the discrete set of events small omega suffix I here. In the first example, there were the two values small omega 1, small omega 2. In the case of only one pair die, we can take the combination as small omega 1, omega 2, omega 3, omega 4, omega 5 and omega 6. And in the case of the third example, we have to get the combinations for the two pair dice here. Now let us move forward to the another example that we call to be the example number 4 here. So in this example number 4, the random variable of the continuous type we shall take. In the previous examples, the random variable was of the type discrete here. So for the continuous type here, we can take the example of infinite resolution roulette wheel here. Here it is the infinite resolution roulette wheel, and the interval that can be the result by spinning this particular infinite resolution roulette wheel can be in between 0 to 1 here. The pictorial representation of the roulette wheel can be given like this here. So here also a pair die that usually occurs, and here it is at the 0th position here, and we have to spin it. There are different types in the world for the roulette wheel. The simple classification can be the American roulette and the European roulette here. The positions of the numbers are somewhat different. Now we shall focus our attention to this example for the mathematical representation of the random variable here. So first of all, what is the sample space? The sample space that we have generally represented by capital omega, here we represent like this here. and the elementary events that we have designated by small omega. So this small omega ranges in between 0 and 1, as just now we have talked about. Now finding the probability here, we can represent the probability of the elementary event omega that belongs to capital I. So capital is having alpha 1 and alpha 2, the two values here. So that time we can represent the limits alpha 1 and alpha 2 with respect to this small omega like this. So this is the difference of alpha 2 minus alpha 1 here. So alpha 1 is the smallest range and smallest value, the threshold here. Alpha 2 is the upper threshold here. Moving further with the probability details here, if we go for the probability of elementary event small omega belonging to I1, that is the alpha 1, or small omega belonging to I2, we can represent them to be the addition of the two individual probabilities here. Now in this example, the experiment that we have made here, the outcome that can be represented by small omega suffix I here, and if the sample space that we have already represented by capital omega, the real or complex number can be assigned to the variable x in general. The pictorial representation here we can make with this particular diagram. So here it is the representation of the sample space. So it has been borderlined here, so this way, and it holds small omega 1, small omega 2, small omega I in general. So for the random variable x we have taken on this particular scale here, so that ranges from 0 to 1 here. So these are the different values that can be folded as x1, x2, in general x suffix I here. Now in this particular diagram, the random variable is basically a function in which the domain is the sample space capital omega and the range is a subset of real or complex numbers here. So this example we have tried to explain with the help of this diagram, and most possibly when we shall be dealing with the practical applications related to this particular domain, the parameter or the domain shall be mostly the time domain here. So whatever the x variable we have shown on that particular axis, those may be the number of time instances. So at those particular time instances, whatever the values will be there, those shall be assigned to the variable here. Now there are two notes we can make from all these examples that we have dealt so far. The first one is the characterization of the random variable that we have denoted by x is given statistically in terms of the probability assignment or the probability law that is defined on the events in the sample space capital omega. And this probability law is the rule that assigns a number called the probability to each event that we can denote by capital A in the sample space here. So therefore we can have certain axioms with respect to all these understandings here. So in order to be a valid probability assignment here, the axioms can be given one by one here. So the first axiom we can represent with respect to the event capital A that belongs to the sample space capital omega here. So here always and always the probability of event capital A is greater than or equal to 0 here. Now we shall move for the second axiom for the certain event in general that is represented as omega. So omega is nothing but the sample space here. So of course the probability of the complete omega is equal to 1 here. And the third axiom can be given as if we have two events. So first of all we have taken only capital A. If you take the case of two events, the mutually exclusive events can be capital A suffix 1 and capital A suffix 2 here. So in that particular case, the mutual probability can be denoted as probability of A1 union A2 is equal to the probability of A1 individual 1 added to the probability of A2 here. So here with respect to the real valued random variable that we have denoted by small x here, one such a statistical characterization that can be given with the help of a functional representation here, and this functional representation is for the probability distribution function, and here we always prefer by the letter capital F. So for the random variable x, we can denote it by capital F suffix x as a function of alpha, and that can be given as the probability of x that is less than or equal to alpha here. Now, as we have gone through the 4 experiments from the pair die, 2 pair dies, the complex representation, the roulette wheel spinning also here. So for the first example that we have dealt with, that is for the pair coin tossing it, the probability distribution function that we have represented capital F suffix x of alpha can be given as the mathematical representation is to assigned with the value of the lower threshold 0 when alpha is less than -1. It is holding the value +1 the upper threshold when 1 is less than or equal to alpha, and when alpha lies in between -1 to 1. So that is -1 is less than or equal to alpha less than 1 here, so that time it holds the value 0.5 here. The graphical representation of this probability distribution function can be made with the help of this diagram. So in this diagram, onto the horizontal axis here we have plotted the values of alpha. So here we can have the markings of -1, 2, +1 onto the right hand side, and here it should be 0 at the center where we have the intersection with the vertical axis where we have plotted capital F suffix x of alpha. So this is the value +1 at maximum value here. So whatever the mathematical representations we have shown, so it is 0 before it is less than -1, and it is +1 when it is greater than 1 the value of alpha, and in between here it is at the half position, that is 0.5 here. Now another statistical characterization we shall go for, and that is with also the help of another function. Here it is the representation by capital F for the probability distribution function, and now we shall talk about the probability density function here. So the probability density function we shall prefer by the representation of small f suffix x to represent the random variable, and this is also a function of alpha here. So this particular probability density function is basically a derivative of the distribution function. Hence in this particular mathematical equation, onto the right hand side here it is capital F suffix x of alpha, which is derivated with respect to small x, that will give us small f suffix x of alpha, the probability density function here. Now with respect to the impulse functions, the representations can be like this, where we have the first term as half of the multiplication with mu suffix 0 in the bracket alpha plus 1, whereas the second term is half of mu suffix 0 in multiplication to alpha minus 1 here. So mu suffix 0 as a function of alpha is the unit impulse function, the graphical representation where we can give like this. So again in this graphical representation we have the same parameter onto the horizontal axis as it was in the case of probability distribution function. So here for probability density function it lies the same, that is alpha. Here it is the value -1, here it is +1, and here at this point it should be a 0 here, and this is the intersection with the vertical axis where we have plot probability density function small f suffix x of alpha here, the maximum value 1 here. So as these are the two impulses, this is the first impulse on left hand side, this is the second impulse onto the right hand side, so those are holding the amplitude levels denoted by half, 1/2, so it means 0.5 here. Now let us move further. So now we shall go for the case of continuous type of the random variable here. So for the continuous type of the random variable that can be defined for the spinning of a roulette wheel experiment here, the probability distribution function represented by capital F suffix x of alpha can be given mathematically as to hold the value 0 when alpha is less than 0, to hold the value 1 here when 1 is less than or equal to alpha, and when the alpha is greater than or equal to 0 and less than 1. So that time the function will hold the value alpha here. The graphical representation can be this way here. So here we can see here, right from 0 up to this particular point, here it is the increasing mode, and afterwards here it is saturated to the value 1 here. So on the horizontal axis again we have alpha, the probability distribution function here. So in the similar manner we can go for the another functional characterization by the help of probability density function. So mathematically it can be given as small f suffix x as a function of alpha holding the value 1 for the case of we have alpha that is greater than or equal to 0 and less than or equal to 1. Else the case is the value of the function is equal to 0. The graphical representation we can give it by this particular diagram here. So here right from 0 to plus 1 we hold with the value 1 here, otherwise we have 0 on this side and 0 again on right hand side here. So after this much of learning with respect to the random variables that we have talked for the discrete time as well as for the continuous type here, we can mark a note here. So the note we can give as, in contrast to a discrete random variable, the probability distribution function of random variable of the continuous type is a continuous function of the alpha here, and the density function is a piecewise continuous one here. And for the complex random variables, like we have represented by z into the real part and the imaginary part here, z is equal to x plus j times y. The joint distribution and joint density functions for x and y are to be given here.